Guys, welcome to a classic movie review of 1940s His Girl Friday, starring Cary Grant, Rosalind Russell and Ralph Bellamy. Now, directed by Howard Hawks and based on the play and subsequent 1931 movie The Front Page by Ben Heck and Charles MacArthur, it adapts that original work into a film that blends quick wit, gender dynamics and still well-observed and pointed satire of the press industry. It's also one of the finest examples of screwball comedy and rapid-fire dialogue in cinema history. Let's take a look.
Will you get going?
Get out of here, Duffy. I'm busy.
No,
Look,
no,
honey.
please, save your
Look, darling,
breath.
this will bring us back together again, just the way we used to
That's
be.
just what I'm afraid of. Any time, any place, anywhere.
Now, don't mock me. This is bigger than anything that ever happened to us. Don't do it for me. Do it for the paper.
Scram, Svengali.
Look, if you won't do it for love, how about money?
Now, His Girl Friday sees Hildy Johnson, played by Rosalind Russell, a tough, intelligent and fiercely independent reporter for the New York Morning Post, about to marry a mild-mannered, some may say boring, insurance salesman, Bruce Baldwin, played by Ralph Bellamy, and she'll leave her career behind to settle into domestic life. Now, her editor, Walter Burns, played by Cary Grant, is not willing to let her go so easily. No. Being a master manipulator, Walter convinces Hildy to cover one last story, the imminent execution of a man named Earl Williams, who's accused of murder. Now, as Hildy digs deeper into the case, she finds herself swept back into the chaotic and morally questionable world of newspaper reporting, and a whirlwind of lies, schemes, and romantic tension develops. Now, in the best possible way, His Girl Friday is quite an exhausting watch, driven by its farcical and maniacal energy, with Walter determined to keep Hildy in his employ and perhaps win back her affections.
Nonsense. You've got an old-fashioned idea. Divorce is something that lasts forever, till death do us part. Why, divorce doesn't mean anything nowadays, Hildy. Just a few words mumbled over you by a judge. We've got something between us nothing can change.
Now, the plot unfolds at a rapid pace, driven by witty banter, miscommunication, and the slapstick antics typical of the screwball comedy genre. Now, what makes the story here unique, certainly for the time, is the way in which the characters are constantly in motion. Every situation or line of dialogue seemingly delivered whilst on the move. Now, facilitating this, of course, are actors who are more than up to the task, particularly Cary Grant and Rosalind Russell. Now, I think this is still one of my favourite Cary Grant performances. His portrayal of Walter Burns, the hard-nosed newspaper editor with an unrelenting drive to get a story at any cost, allows him to flex his trademark charm and charisma muscles to the max. Now, Walter's a manipulator for sure, but not in a villainous sense. He also has a genuine feeling for Hildy, so you're appalled at his behaviour in regards to sabotaging her engagement, but you know the pair really belong together.
This is a debt of honor with me. I was a bad husband to Hildy. She could have claimed a lot of alimony if she'd wanted to, but she wouldn't take any. She had it coming to her, but she was too independent.
Well, I'm independent, too.
Well, I know you are, Bruce. I know you are.
Now, despite my love for Grant here, I think the star of the show is unquestionably Rosalind Russell, and as a female reporter in a male-dominated industry, Hildy's both strong and intelligent. She has a quick wit and a sharp tongue, and her refusal to take any BS from any of her work colleagues makes her more than an equal to Grant's Walter.
I want to interview with Earl Williams. How about a little service?
No more interviews.
Why not?
Sheriff's orders. Besides, the doctor's coming over. Can't do it.
Oh. Say, is this your money?
Well, I don't think it is.
$20.
Yeah, I guess maybe it
That's
is.
what I thought. Come on, I'm in a hurry.
Hey, Joe, open up here.
The chemistry between the two leads is electric, which sounds cliched, but you only have to watch 5 minutes of this to see it. The supporting cast is equally strong. Ralph Bellamy, of course, providing an excellent foil to Grant's Walter as the kind but bumbling Bruce Baldwin. Now, his calmer demeanour contrasts with this glass-sharp wit of the main characters. He's not comic relief per se, but Bellamy's character is a much-needed balance to the fast-paced chaos of the newsroom. Now, speaking of fast-paced, at the heart of His Girl Friday is its razor-sharp script, written by Charles Lederer, based on Hecht and MacArthur's original play. Now, the dialogue here blew audiences' minds at the time of release, as it had the characters almost constantly speaking over one another in rapid-fire exchanges. Now, this style of dialogue delivery was revolutionary at the time, and it has since become one of the film's most iconic aspects. Each exchange between the central pair feels like a battle of wits, with Hildy refusing to be swayed by Walter's charms and manipulations, while he constantly tries to pull her back into the world of reporting. Now, honestly, it can take multiple viewings just to take in all of the wordplay, double entendres and clever one-liners. Now, even though you will find His Girl Friday in many of the greatest classic comedy lists, it's also quite a pointed critique of the press industry and the ethics of sensational journalism, which is probably more relevant today than it was 85 years ago. Grant's Walter Burns will go to great lengths to get a story, no matter the human cost, and the film's depiction of sensationalist press, more concerned with profit and scandal than truth, and ethical compromises made by journalists, are just part of everyday life these days. The film also explores themes and issues of gender roles and expectations. Of course, here the role of Hildy Johnson is played by Rosalind Russell, but in the original and film, it was played by a man, Pat O'Brien, in the 1931 version. The portrayal of Hildy as a woman who is both capable of excelling in a male-dominated workplace without sacrificing her femininity was progressive for its time, but works perfectly for this story. So director Howard Hawks, who began his career developing a mastery of screwball comedy with films like A Girl in Every Port, 20th Century, Bringing Up Baby, directs His Girl Friday with precision and impeccable pacing. The editing's fast and tight, dialogue flows without interruption. Now Hawks, of course, would go on to make masterworks like The Big Sleep, Red River and Rio Bravo, and here he fashions a touchstone of American comedy, a movie that is constantly ranked among the greatest films of all time, and one that's influenced many subsequent comedies. The chemistry between Cary Grant and Rosalind Russell sets an almost impossibly high bar for rom-coms going forward. It's so perfectly realised that, for me, I'm not sure a better one's been made since.
Listen, Walter.
Listen, I made a great reporter out of you, Hildy, but you won't be half as good on any other paper, and you know it. We're a team, that's what we are. You need me, and I need you, and the paper needs both of
Sold
us.
American.
Oh, all right, God.
Listen, Walter, please.
Now, it's not only been stolen from almost every other rom-com that you've ever seen, but director Billy Wilder remade the original The Front Page in 1974, and then there was an almost forgotten remake called Switching Channels in 1988 with Burt Reynolds, Kathleen Turner and Christopher Reeve, which I've yet to see, and it's even gone full circle with a couple of relatively recent stage productions. Now, His Girl Friday is one of the movies that I'll always recommend to people who think anything made as far back as 1940 is just a dusty old classic. There's more life and electric pace in this thing than the vast majority of more modern comedies. It's not without its cynicism, though. It can be dark and morally complex, but this is a movie with about 5 jokes a minute during a 90-minute runtime, so trust me, go check it out.
Governor, what can I do for you?
Well, would you mind if I sat down?
There's been a lamp burning in the window for you, honey. Here.
Oh, I jumped out that window a long time ago, Walter.